I'd like to welcome Mystery Ranch as a sponsor to the Western Huntsman. This is a great product. Specifically, we're going to talk about the Mysterium line. Those packs include the Sawtooth 45, the Sawtooth 65, the Beartooth 85, and the Marshall 105, depending on what you're doing with the pack. If you from day pack to backcountry, plenty of space. I like what they wrote on the website. Between the disciplines of calculated preparation and in-the-moment focus, an intangible alchemy exists. We call it Mysterium. It is our most ambitious, tech-rich line of Mystery Ranch hunting packs constructed for the most methodical hunters. I'd agree with that. It's a great pack, guys. I really like the ventilation system. When you put it on, it's nice and tight, but you're still breathing a little bit less of that buildup between the pack and your back when you're sweating and out there packing through the mountains and whatnot. It's a super functional pack, very comfortable. Very good at carrying loads. I've been using it all spring between bear and just like I do a lot of rucking to keep in shape, and it has done a phenomenal job. I've got a lot of top-of-the-line packs out there, and I've always kind of geeked out with packs, but I really do like the weight distribution and the way that it allows you multiple options as to where you're going to either carry a water bladder or one of those Contigo containers or whatever you're going to use. Really impressed. I love the ease of how everything functions on it too. You don't need to watch a bunch of videos to figure out how to undo everything to pack a bunch of meat out. That's really important for a guy like me, I promise. I'm not super smart. So the simplicity, the comfort, the load distribution, it all makes for a wonderful backcountry hunting pack. If you are in the market, check it out at mysteryranch.com/Mysterium. Back in the old days, there was this program called Layaway, where you can go into a store and start making payments on something, some high-dollar ticket item, and once you paid that off every month, it was yours. You could take it home. That's how I bought my first deer rifle from the Marine Corps PX on Camp Lejeune in North Carolina, and it was the first weapon that I bought that I purchased myself. It wasn't a hand-me-down, it wasn't my dad's, it wasn't anything like that. So I went and I picked out this 30-06, and I just didn't have a lot of money, and so I did the layaway program, but I needed a scope on it, and the cheaper scopes were all sold out, and so I bumped up to this entry-level loopholed scope and put that on the layaway program and had them all, put the whole package together for me and all that. Made the payments and finally got to bring it home. Ever since then, almost every rifle I've owned has had a loopholed scope. In fact, I'm having a custom rifle built this year, and it's going to have the loopholed Mark 5 HD scope on it. I just killed a buffalo with that scope. It's a really great product. And loopholed, guys, you know them. Everybody knows loopholed. They've been around since 1907. They started as a special instrument company or something like that. But these American-made products are fantastic. Whether you're looking for a spotter, binos, a rifle scope, accessories, tripods, bipods, all that kind of stuff. You can find it all at loophole.com. And I'd really appreciate if you supported this American company that has a great American story. And I couldn't be a bigger fan of a company, and I'm so happy and thrilled that they've chosen to partner with the Western Huntsman. Thanks to Leupold, and thanks to you guys for supporting our great sponsors. There exists a threat, from anti-hunting groups to politicians trying to give our land away, and we won't stand for it. Those vast western landscapes provide the space for our wildlife to thrive, and a place for hunters and anglers to fuel the fire that sparks their soul. In this show, we share our love of hunting, fishing, and conservation. Here, we provide the foundation to meet these threats through passion and the grit of the American outdoorsman. Welcome to the Western Huntsman Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode of the Western Huntsman Podcast. This is Jim Huntsman, your host, coming at you from the Broken Time studio right here in Northwest Montana. That intro seems like it takes forever when we're doing this in person.
That music gets me all pumped up.
Yeah, me too. So, guys, we're here in the studio. My buddy, return guest, and my favorite tattoo artist, Nate Davenport, is with me. Hang on, I'm dealing with a microphone issue. Apparently it came apart on me. There we go. That'll work. Nate he actually just came over and tattooed me. So I'm like, let's jump in the studio and we'll record a podcast. How cool is that? I appreciate you coming out here, man.
Heck yeah, it's awesome. That's such a beautiful drive coming up here. So
it's not a terrible place, is it?
No, it's not. It's
yeah.
Makes me a little jealous that I had to drive back down to Post Falls after this.
You have to go back to the traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is we so far we love it out here. Montana's got it's just like it's a different thing. You know, I used to think I remember saying, like, you couldn't pry me out of North Idaho.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
And I used to say that, and I still feel that way for the most part, because North Idaho's a great spot too. It's just it's a little bit quieter.
Yeah.
The hunting seasons are a little bit longer.
Oh,
the only bummer is we can't bait bears over here, and I kind of miss doing that.
Yeah.
So I might have to tag along with you.
Yeah, we should definitely team up on one, and we were kind of talking about some stuff earlier. I think that might work out. I
like that strategy. I don't want to say it on here because it'll give other people that idea.
Yeah. I think it's something that I've been thinking about for a while, and I think that I'm sure that it works in other places. There's no reason why it wouldn't work here. So
I did it for a deer hunt once, and it worked in Utah. So anyway, it's not fair us all talking about it and not filming people. It's just going to be a unique way to get into some country that most people aren't going to get into. So that's all it is. So again, Nate Davenport, he is, I think that, what is this, like your third or fourth time on the show?
Yeah, third time, I think.
Third time. And I got to turn my headphones down. There we go. We're using the old school setup, so we don't even have video on this, and it's like the old Zoom 8. When I started the podcast, I bought this equipment, and it's still working great, man. Like, I'm good with it. So Eastman's might not be happy I didn't do video, but I don't care, whatever. Sometimes you just can't make it happen.
Right.
So Nate is with the Broken Trail Bowman there in North Idaho. And we're going to talk a little bit about archery. We're going to talk a little bit about tattoos. Tell us, for anybody that doesn't know who you are, let's just kick it off, a little bit of your background, what you do, and kind of what your connection with archery is.
Oh, right, sense. Yeah. So I guess I've been probably for about 10 years or more, I kind of started getting involved into going to some 3D archery events, and initially it was just sort of like I wanted to become a more proficient bow hunter, and it was initially when I first started going, I was taking my compound bow along, and my son and I would go to a lot of these different shoots, and it was just so cool because it was almost like this secret society, you know, like you drive out in the middle of nowhere in Idaho, and then you come around the corner and there's 200 cars parked out there, and everybody's got their bows, you know, or whatever. And it was just almost like something that, you know, it was a surprise to me initially. And the longer that I've been involved with it, the more cool people that I've met through it, and the more devotion that I have to archery, and like to the point to where I want to like give back to it or whatever.
Sure.
And so these archery events that go on, they're hosted all over the place, but like in the Northwest, there's a ton of these shoots that you can go out and access by your local archery clubs, and they are just a great family friendly environment to like get out there and do some hiking with your bow, and become a little bit more proficient in terms of like making some shot placement, you know, stuff, and shooting outside your normal like backyard environment where you're actually out in the woods and shooting at extreme angles and stuff like that. And so it definitely like has helped me to grow as an archer like tremendously over over the years or whatever. And all these events are put on, they're all volunteer, based stuff. And so you go out there and enjoy these shoots, but there's a handful of hardworking people that are kind of like behind the scenes on it that have to be out there, and they do it just because of their love of archery, and they do it because they want other people to share that, or whatever. And so, but yeah, either whether you want to come out and volunteer or whether you want to just come out and shoot, like the more the merrier, and I can pretty much guarantee that you're going to have a good time out there doing it.
I'll bet, man. Like the one I'm looking at here on this flyer on the Instagram, there's an Instagram for those of you listening, if you're like in North Idaho or, Spokane or something, the Instagram is at the Bison Shoot. And like the Broken Trail Bowman Cabin Fever, I think I'm thinking about coming to that one on February 28th.
Yeah.
Are they all the same place, these different events?
Yeah.
What's the difference between... Oh, sorry, I cut you off there.
Oh, no, you're good. They're hosted at the H2H Bison Ranch in Worley. Mm-hmm. And they have... we basically shoot on the bison's like summer range during the wintertime or whatever. And so...
Oh, before they come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's
so you don't have to dodge bison.
You got bison poops. You got to dodge.
They're pretty impressive too. Is there? Because I'm looking at this and I'm thinking about how far away it is from me. For like, is there camping there or there is?
Yeah, they have RV spots there, and or like dry camping. So yeah, the venue is pretty cool because they actually have like. Hot food like a cook shack, bison burgers and stuff for lunch, and they usually serve a breakfast and stuff too. So you could definitely spend. We usually stay down there for the weekend on the shoots and just.
I might brush the snow off the trailer and pull it down there and just bring the whole family down there.
It'd be
That'd
awesome.
Be kind of fun, man.
Super fun.
So and like for you, Nate, I've talked about this a bunch on the show. And it's like no secret for me. I became an archer because I wanted to archery hunt elk in September, right? Like I don't have a specific passion for shooting bows outside of I just want to be as lethal as I can for hunting season.
Absolutely.
And then what I've talked about a bunch on the show too is like some people they're real passionate hunters and they're passionate about being an archery hunter, and then to take it further, they're passionate just about archery in general. Like that's a separate hobby. They do these kind of things year round. That's kind of you, right?
Yeah, I definitely I'm shoot year round. And that started kind of more when I switched over to traditional archery, probably about 7 or 8 years ago. And I just enjoy shooting that much more or whatever. And so where I would go out and shoot in the backyard with my compound bow and shoot 20 or 30 arrows and they're all kind of hitting the same spot, you know what I mean, or whatever. And
it gets boring.
The challenge of shooting a traditional gear is definitely like more, it's very like thought provoking and like you can kind of like really go down some deep rabbit holes in terms of like trying to better your technique or you know what I mean, like find a cleaner release or have like quiet your mind during your shot process and like all of those things. It's important too because I've always said like it's archery, and it's the same for rifle hunting as well, but specifically archery, every move I think needs to be second nature. Because if you've got like this screaming bull elk coming in, or like in your case where if you guys listened to a few years back, Nate killed a great bear. Like, what was that, like a 20-inch skull on that black bear? Yeah, I think it was 19 7/16 or something.
And you killed it with a recurve?
Yeah, longbow.
Longbow?
Yeah.
Yeah, so what makes you so effective is that's just like this second nature thing. You're not having to, like, when I first got into archery, I remember... I don't even think it was a bull I called in. I remember I was out hunting and I'd never archery hunted for elk. I'd been archery hunting mule deer in the high country of Utah, before this, but when I got back to North Idaho, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try to go after some elk or whatever, and I'm out there, and I'm blowing on this cow call, and this cow comes bounding over this brush all of a sudden, like in front of me at about 100 yards, has no idea I'm there. And I get all excited, and I'm fumbling around. I'm like, oh, man, I can't grab an arrow. I can't get it knocked right. I couldn't figure out how to get my release on the string. This is years ago, you know. And ends up it was a cow. Couldn't shoot it anyway. But what I've learned, like, when that circumstance, what makes people deadly with a bow is those moves are just like second nature.
Right.
And I think that these shoots that you're talking about, like through Broken Trail Bowman there, that's what makes everything just automatic. You're not like thinking, oh, grab an arrow. You're not thinking. It's like driving a car, and you just like everything is just second nature. You're not thinking about what your next move is.
They make this like reference to throwing a baseball, right? So like if you're throwing a baseball, you're not calculating the distance between you and the person. You just are throwing the ball. It's a very instinctive thing, and that's like the nature of the traditional bow is kind of like more like that, in the sense that, you know, you're just focusing on the spot, you know, and like there is different aiming methods, and people use different types of aiming methods. You can aim off the point of your arrow, and there's different things that you can do. There is very much aiming in traditional archery, whether you're shooting instinctively or not. But those instincts, when they take over and you stop thinking about, is that 20 yards, and you just shoot the arrow like this, your brain does all the calculating for you. And as long as you do it enough to build those instincts, then your mind knows exactly what needs to happen for that arrow to go to that spot, you know.
Yeah. How does that translate? Like, I'm thinking of you. Were you in a tree stand when you killed that bear?
Yeah.
Does all that apply when you transfer that, sitting in a tree stand and shooting down, and like, I don't even know if this is making sense what I'm asking, because I'm not much of a tree stand hunter, man.
Yeah, I think that like the angles, I think it's common for people to overshoot and undershoot animals when they're dealing with whether the animal is higher than they are or lower than they are in relative to their, you know, the angle of their shot, because the way that gravity works, you know what I mean? If you're shooting up, the arrow's going to drop faster at the same distance, and if you're shooting down, the arrow's going to essentially shoot higher, you know what I mean, or whatever. And like some of those things, like if you're shooting from a tree stand, you kind of want, you know, the angle of the arrow going through the body, it's going to start high and end low, you know what I mean? And so I think it definitely helps to shoot. Like I will usually, the day that I set my tree stand up for the year, I'll set a target out there and shoot the target from my tree stand, and just kind of like start getting used to those angles. But a lot of these 3D shoots that we go to provide shot scenarios that have extreme angles to them, and so we have like platforms that we shoot from to shoot down, you know, and or put a target up on the hill that we're shooting up at. And so it can definitely make what you think is just like a standard 20-yard shot like adds a lot of complexity, you know, to it or whatever.
Oh, and I think that's critical too, because like I have never let an arrow fly at an elk that was like a box target in my backyard, 20 yards flat, no brush in the way.
Yeah,
completely,
you know, it's just, broadside.
Yeah, it's just never like that. And so I have a little 3D. I wish we didn't have so much snow. I'd take you back and show you, because I'm pretty proud of my 3D range back there. And I got to replace the buck target. The bears like the petroleum in it, you know, and so they snatch it. I got to get a new one. But I've got a coyote. I've got a bear, a pig, and
right on.
I've got this crazy one that's like this raccoon that is wrapped around the tree, so I can I could set it up high. Man, there's been a lot of arrows lost on that little target. So, but that's what I did back there. I've got that 1/4 elk size target. I can never remember the name of it, but
like the Reinhardt.
Yeah, that Reinhardt one. It's a good target, and I set it in like this copse of trees. and there's like this 30-yard shot you could take, and it's kind of quartering to, and you have to get it between these real skinny trees to hit that elk.
Yeah.
And man, that is a realistic shot, and that's
Yeah.
why I think people should do that kind of stuff more often, because
definitely.
you gotta create as much realism as you can.
And that's what we put a lot of effort into thinking about like hunting scenarios that you might encounter when it comes to like setting up these shots. And so it's especially in like I hunt North Idaho, and it's a jungle or whatever, and so a lot of times the targets, the way that we set them up, they might be covered, like partially covered, or it's like really like shooting through the brush, or and if you're off by a few inches, your arrow might just be stuck in the tree or go sailing or whatever.
Yeah, man, I've got one arrow stuck in the tree off that raccoon target somewhere. It's like too high for me to get to. Is like for you, because as I mentioned in the beginning, you're a tattoo artist. You've basically done all the work on me. Even my 22-year-old Marine Corps tattoo. I can't believe it's that old. You fixed up, and you just did a new one today, and did one like a month ago.
Yep.
So the point to what I'm getting at is like, for obviously you're like this creative dude, like you've got this creativity side, and you're an artist. Does archery to you, does it feed that creativity need for you?
It definitely I guess I have this like creative energy or whatever you want to call it, that sort of like I have to have projects and kind of stuff to work on, and like building arrows is very therapeutic for me or whatever, like building arrows. And I also work with a company part-time called Backwoods Composites, and we build like really high-end carbon fiber and composite recurve and longbow limbs and risers.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, and it's been a really cool thing to work with. The guy that owns the company's name's Sam Jafrida, and he is an aerospace engineer as his day job or whatever, and he's specifically into like the structural end of things, and so he's taken his knowledge of that industry and applied it to archery, and he's doing some pretty wildly innovative things or whatever, that some of the most technologically advanced recurve and longbow limbs available on the planet.
Really?
Whatever. So
where can you get those at?
He has a website, Backwoods Composites.
Can you buy the whole setup, like the whole bow?
Yeah, we're currently have a couple of risers that we're able to produce and offer, so we could build like a full 3-piece bow. But like the one project that I've been working on recently is we're getting ready to launch or we're building the first prototype, but 1-piece competition longbow. And so it's a little bit different than like a type of bow that you would hunt with. It's specifically meant to be shot for 3D and for indoor target shooting or whatever. And so like heavier mass and longer length for stability and stuff like that. But it's a pretty exciting project, because we're this competition longbow is sort of like all the talk right now, essentially, like in the traditional archery world of target shooting, I guess you could say. So like there's a shoot in Lancaster, Pennsylvania called the Lancaster Classic, and it's one of the largest indoor shoots in the U.S. for all types of bows. But for a long time they didn't have a longbow class, but there was interest, and so there was a couple of guys that kind of like spearheaded this group to sort of get longbows to be allowed at Lancaster. And it's been wildly successful the last couple of years. And so like last year I think was the first year, and they had a pretty great a pretty large class, and they also
I'm just showing you the screen.
Yeah.
I found the website to Backwoods Composites here.
They also are showing people that these guys with longbows and wood arrows can shoot as well as almost anybody else out there or whatever. Their scores have just been amazing comparatively to, so like these indoor shoots is a lot of times it's like a Vegas 300 style round, and so you're shooting a paper target with the concentric circles basically, and they all have different point categories from like 1 to 10, and then you shoot 3 arrows and you shoot 10 ends of 3 arrows, so a total of 30 arrows, and 10's the highest score, so there's a possible of 300 points. But some of these longbow guys are shooting like in the upper 200s, like 260s, 270s, which is like, I mean, right there with like the barebow guys, and the guys that are shooting a lot more I guess less primitive equipment.
Yeah.
What I mean, they have to use, in the longbow class, you have to use wood arrows, and so the consistency and stuff like that is just like, it's much harder to be accurate with this equipment. But
gotcha.
they've proven that that these guys are have every right to to be there and compete like that.
That's cool, man. I didn't know you were involved with all that.
Yeah, it's like it's been I've always been very like a longbow guy, I guess, and so since I've been working with Sam at Backwoods, I've been building the longbow limbs for him, and then been kind of talking about this project for a couple of years, and so it's pretty cool to finally kind of like bring it to fruition.
I knew you built arrows, but I didn't know you were working on this whole thing.
Yeah.
See, I always learn something all crazy about you every time we get together, man.
I keep myself pretty busy.
You are busy. You're always posting up all these crazy cool tattoos you're doing, and all these archery shoots you're doing, and taking youth hunters out for their first duck hunt or whatever.
Yeah.
Why? That's another thing I kind of wanted to pick your brain about. Like you do have this passion for getting people involved in whether it's hunting or archery. Mm-hmm. Where does that come from?
Things were different when I was growing up or whatever, and like, not that there wasn't the opportunity to get out and do some of these things, but maybe there wasn't always like as much mentoring as could have been there or whatever. And so I like I'm passionate about that end of things, because like I said, just like with the archery thing, like I want to be able to give back to this stuff that I'm so passionate about or whatever. Man. And so especially with like this area or the area that I live in, Post Falls, northern Idaho, is growing at an exponential rate, and like the people that by and large that are moving here are not maybe as interested in hunting or like a lot of things that I grew up like doing or whatever. And so there's a lot of kids out there that are moving to this area that might have an interest in hunting or shooting or something like that, but maybe their parents don't have the knowledge or the ability to be able to like help them along the way.
Kind of in that journey hunting experience kind of thing. Yeah.
So, and I think it's important to, especially with like all of the social media, like influencer like things, like I think people get a different idea about hunting sometimes than what is the reality, and watching it all kind of like through the scope of social media, like the reality is not really there, you know what I mean? Like,
I had a hunting client that I was guiding during archery season this year, that we had this really good elk encounter, and this bull screaming his head off, and we ended up not getting this bull. And we're kind of hiking back to the truck, and he looks at me and he's like, this is way different than what it looks like on YouTube.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, there's tons of people, out there that are, there's a whole generation of people that learn everything via the internet.
Yeah,
There's,
absolutely.
I mean, very, very little face-to-face or hand-to-hand teaching of these skills or whatever. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, or whatever. But
no, I think it's a combination. It's good and bad.
I learn a lot.
I do too, man. Yeah. I had to put a new alternator in one of my trucks. And they're way different than they were back on my old 77 Chev,
I'm a YouTube mechanic.
Yeah, I am a YouTube mechanic, dude, and that's how I figured out how to attach this dang alternator. And the truck I was working on isn't even that super new. It's a 07 or whatever that diesel is out there, And so, YouTube, it's good for stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think that it can be pretty detrimental in the hunting space, because I think that people watch that and they watch these videos and they're watching 2 weeks condensed down into 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh wow, that was pretty quick. That's how it works, huh?
No, they're not showing the struggles most of the time. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
There's some good stuff. There's some good stuff out there or whatever, but a lot of times they don't talk about the struggles, or that you hunted for 20 days and didn't see an elk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Didn't hear a bugle, didn't hear nothing.
100 miles on your boots and heard a bugle at night when you're sleeping. And
that's the other thing too, is they're like, oh yeah, we just came back, we just got back to the truck, we just hiked 6 miles, whatever.
There's one bugling by camp.
But you're not experiencing what that 6 miles feels like by just hearing the recap of what they just did. And so I think it can be detrimental. So it's good to have. Are you in that First Hunt Foundation? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
You're involved in that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a mentor for them, and that's usually take a couple of kids out each year and take them either turkey hunting or duck hunting or something like that or whatever.
Man, those are the perfect hunts to get somebody. I always say turkey hunting is the best starting point for a brand new hunter. What do you think?
I think that I've gotten so many kids hooked on hunting from turkey hunting. You know what I mean?
The action, the gobbles, it's just a lot of good action.
I wouldn't torture any kid with me taking them out for a mentor deer hunt, because we just go and walk for 10 days in a row and never see anything.
Not see anything. I know.
They'd be like, hunting sucks.
This is stupid. You paid money to do this. Well, that's again especially with kids, because their attention span is just shorter.
Yeah.
You get them out 20 minutes from the truck, and all of a sudden you get a gobbler coming in, and he's just screaming his head off. Man, they're addicted. They're hooked. I still love turkey hunting, man. It's one of my favorite hunts, actually.
And I mean, honestly, some of the best days I've ever had in the field, I didn't have a gun or a bow with me. You know what I mean? It was just getting to experience that with for the first time with them is part of the reason why you do it.
Yeah. It's good you're involved. You're the perfect guy for that. I was involved in the First Hunt Foundation too when I lived in Idaho, and then when I moved to Montana, obviously, I think you have to re-sign up or whatever, because I remember they did some kind of background check or something, and it's we need stuff like that, because you get some single mom that for some reason the dad's maybe not in the picture or doesn't have any hunting experience, but that kid does. And, it's important for that individual. Now, I don't know that I have the argument that we need to continue recruiting new people into the hunting space, because I think that's sitting pretty.
Right.
We need that, but we don't need to increase it. You know what I mean? I think the animals have enough pressure.
Enough people are coming to it, but a lot of them are uneducated, you know what I mean? And so if you can help even with one or two of these people and teach them, some of obviously morals and ethics are very different from person to person, but once you start teaching some common morals and ethics when it comes to waterfowl hunting and turkey hunting, that your fellow hunter needs to be respected, and all of these different things, that's what is getting lost, I think, a little bit with like the YouTube and stuff like that, because if you're not mentored to be able to teach that way, that's something you're never going to learn on a video, like setting up on top of somebody else, or just having the respect of, you know what I mean, like spacing and stuff like that.
That's a big one.
Yeah,
that's a big one.
You're going to end up ruining your hunt and somebody else's hunt at the same time, and it's just like,
and it turns it into this negative experience. That's a big one for the thing that I missed the most about North Idaho was baiting bears, because we can't do that over here, you know. And so, but I had a guy set up a bait site, excuse me, like not even 100 yards from mine, and he flat out told me. I met him kind of back at the road. It was a ways from the road too, and that's like one of my strategies was always, I try to get my bait sites far enough from the road that like the hounds aren't picking up scent from the houndsman, you know. And anyway, so I'm trying to attract bears that aren't crossing the dirt road, and that's what the point was. Well, this guy like found my bait site.
Figured that's a good spot.
He's like, that's got to be a good spot. But and he wasn't like a jerk about it. He flat out told me, he's like, yeah, I saw your bait barrel there. So I was like, okay, there must be bears around here. So I set one up. He didn't know that he was stepping on my toes and affecting somebody else's hunt, you know. And so that's important stuff. That's the stuff you don't learn on YouTube very much, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, man, that's cool. That's really cool that you do that. The world needs a little bit more leadership on that front for sure.
Yeah.
But that, what was I? Oh, I was going to ask you something about the tattoos, man, because we were talking one time. Tell everybody. So for those of you listening, again, if you're in like the North Idaho, Spokane, Washington area, Anchored Nate is your tattoo is your Instagram handle. Yeah. At Anchored Nate, and you're like known in the area for the guy that does like the outdoors / hunting type tattoos, and you know, talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's been you know, it's something that sort of like came to me naturally. Like I've always had a love for the outdoors and stuff like that. Always loved nature, and like I feel like sometimes like the colors that are represented in nature are like you can't produce something that's as beautiful as, you know, as what's there.
Yeah.
So just trying to capture the beauty of nature in art, I think is something that I've always kind of like had a passion for. But since I'm so immersed into like the hunting community and stuff like that, it has been like great for my tattoo career as well. You know, like I will end up tattooing on people that I've met through Instagram or, you know, Facebook or whatever, that live in other places and you know, are willing to travel to, you know, come to Spokane to get, you know, tattooed, because I'm so passionate about the type of stuff that I get to tattoo so regularly or whatever. But
yeah, and that's what I'm pulling up your Instagram here, because you just posted one. I think that was last night. It was a good one, man. Like, you guys listening need to jump on his Instagram. This is the one you posted, right?
Yeah.
And let's see. And when I came into your tattoo shop, what it's called, Anchored Art Tattoo. Art Tattoo, and it's in Spokane. It's like downtown Spokane. But when I came in there, and I'm talking to some of the other artists in there waiting, I don't remember, waiting for you, and they're like, "Oh yeah, Nate's he's the hunter tattoo guy."
Yeah.
You know,
you can usually tell my clients because they're the ones wearing camouflage.
Yeah, they come. That one time I had a camo vest on when I came in there.
You're Nate's client.
Yeah, that's Nate's guy for sure. Do you ever run into any friction with that within the shop? Like I don't know. I always am overly sensitive, I think, to like the anti-hunting type community out there.
You know, it's funny. I think I've actually been able to, you know, a lot of the people that I work with have come from all over the place, you know what I mean, and not necessarily grown up in North Idaho and had the same experience that I have, and a lot of, not a lot of, but there's I've had co-workers that were like full on vegan and like all of that. But I think that when you can sit down and talk to somebody that has an open mind, open enough to like hear your experience on things, you can really change their whole perspective on a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of these people don't understand that, especially like if they're meat eaters, but they're anti-hunting, like these are the easiest people to convert, right? Because they don't even have a clue like what we're out there doing. They think that it's savagery, you know what I mean? And like the reality is that these animals that we kill, if we do it right, live the most pristine life of any animal that you're ever going to eat. Live a million times more pristine life than that chicken or that cow that came from the grocery store. You know what I mean? And if we do it right, their lights just get turned out one day, and they don't have, you know what I mean? They don't know anything different. You know what I mean? They
lived a natural life,
right?
You know, experience the evolution of accuracy with the new Browning X-Bolt 2. Guys, this rifle is something else. With the introduction of the X-Bolt, Browning has set a new standard in the development of bolt-action rifles. It was created around the goal of total accuracy, where every component worked in unison to improve downrange performance straight out of the box, from windswept tundras to rocky peaks high above the tree line to African plains and everywhere in between. The X-Bolt delivered the tack-driving accuracy a Browning rifle is respected for. And that's super true, guys. I really like this rifle from a standpoint of, like, it's not super heavy, it's not super light. I put a really nice scope on it. I love that Veritech stock, because that is like one of those pieces of accuracy that, you know, that interface between the rifle and the shooter. Not everybody's the same size. The DLX trigger, you can get the Plus magazine system for extra rounds. Great all-around rifle in the field. For those of you that are looking for a rifle this year to take to the field that you can feel real confident in and get really comfortable with, this is the rifle to check out. The Browning X-Bolt 2 should be one of your top contenders. Link is in the show notes. One thing I think that helps people along those lines, and this, I've had this discussion with, because there's like two different kinds of vegans, man. There's regular humans that just choose to live their life as they want to live it and be vegan, and you know, that's great. And then you have what I call the hostile vegan,
right,
which thinks that everybody, because they made that decision, has to follow in what they choose, and anything else besides that is hateful,
right
and evil and whatever. So that conversation, but like I like to talk about the fact that, like, when you go to a grocery store and get a pound of hamburger or something, how many hands is that meat exchanged through to get to that point?
Right.
How old is it?
Yeah, how long has it been sitting there?
Was it taken care of? Like, those kind of things are important, because, like a deer, for example, I know there was no middleman.
Right.
It went from living a natural life to I took care of the whole process. I butcher myself. I do all that, and I think that's not. And you don't have to be butcher your animals yourself. A lot of people don't. That's totally fine. You're still immersed in the whole process and the lifestyle, and you kind of know, some butchers are a little sketchy. I don't know if they're getting their meat, but that's, I think, an important factor. I know, like, people don't realize how old the eggs are. From at a grocery store. Right. They could be like 60 days
or 6 months.
Or 6 months. Yeah. I mean, and they've been sprayed, and they've been all this stuff to make them look pretty and white and all this. That's why when you get used to cracking a grocery store egg versus having your own chickens and cracking those eggs, it's a lot harder to crack your own chicken eggs.
Right.
And that's because they're new, they're fresh, they haven't been stripped down and painted and everything else that kind of takes those outer layers off. So it's a healthier egg anyway. But that's cool. Interesting little thing. I don't know why I thought of that, but I've been, because I'm a musician, right? And you're an artist, and so we have this creativity side and we are generally around people that are dissimilar to us more often than people that aren't, you know. And so that was one thing when I had a band back in the day. some of my musicians, they were like, "What do you mean hunting? You'd rather go hunting than play a gig, kind of thing." And like they didn't understand.
Right.
They thought it was just like this redneck thing to do, to go kill stuff, and that's just not what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I think and part of that's maybe our fault because we sort of like get caught up in the like we want to be successful as a hunter, and then if you take that part seriously, then you start to lose focus of some of the other things that are important, stuff like that. But yeah, I think it's like having like being able to butcher an animal, like I said, that lived a pristine life, and be able to have the control over the meat and everything, be able to have the cuts that you want and do what you want with it. I think those are all very valuable valuable things or whatever.
And in a lot of ways, we're kind of just creating an echo chamber here, because everybody listening to this is going to be on the same. They're hunters,
Sure.
Yeah. But I think it's also an important point to make that, like, I feel good about when that animal dies. I know that death is way better than the alternative.
Right.
Getting eaten alive by wolves, or hit by a car and dying for 22 hours on the side of a highway,
Sure.
or dying of starvation because it's a really bad winter, that kind of stuff. The alternative to being killed by a hunter is way worse than being killed by a hunter.
Yeah,
agreed. That's just an important point. What's your favorite thing to tattoo, man? I love jumping on your Instagram and looking at all these different things.
Lately I've been getting to do a lot of color, and like in the first part of my career, I did a lot of color work, and then it seems like for 6 or 7, well, probably 7 or 8 years, like black and gray tattoos were so popular that it definitely like was tattooing more black and gray than color for a long time, but always kind of considered myself more of a color artist, I guess, or like that I excel at that versus the black and gray. But I've been really enjoying doing these fishing related tattoos lately.
I've been looking at it, man. They're intense.
Look at this the color and stuff that you can incorporate just using like natural colors, I think is just pretty cool.
That's amazing. Like this I know this is audio only specifically in this podcast. We usually the color. So the tattoos you're doing for me, the last couple, they've been kind of boring for you, huh? Because what did you call them? Minimalist. Minimalist tattoo. That's like the trend you said, huh?
Yeah, it's trendy.
It is trendy. But I'm gonna do like a sleeve on this arm,
right?
And do I need to book that with you now, or are you gonna like? I don't want you to get all filled up around April.
Yeah, I'll have to look at my schedule. I'm thinking right now my schedule's probably out into July, but a lot of times we'll get like reschedules and stuff, and so sometimes things will open up at different times. And
all right,
if I start getting some dates opening up in April, I'll definitely
hit me up.
Yeah.
See, that's the sign that you're a pretty good artist when you're booked out that far, man.
I'm very fortunate to be working in a great shop with a lot of other very talented artists that we all I guess excel in the genre that we are tattooing in, and so it's a very we're a very busy shop. We have a great reputation, not just locally, but like kind of nationally too, or whatever. And so we have clients that kind of like come in from all over the place. We even have guest artists. We have a guest artist that has been coming pretty regularly, that he's got a shop over in Manhattan and travels over once a month to do a couple weeks over here. And
no kidding.
Got another buddy that lives down in Vegas that comes up every couple of weeks and works for a couple of weeks or whatever. And so I've been very fortunate to be in the shop because even though I've always had like a lot of like return customers or like my own kind of clientele, like just the amount of volume of people that are coming through that shop, and everybody that comes in there is looking for something more, something different, you know what I mean, or whatever. And so that's where we can really like put our best foot forward and provide this, like the next level tattoo, next level experience or whatever.
Makes sense to me. Can you pull that microphone just a little bit closer to you? There we go. You keep like that chair has
Getting
wheels and you're like
further
scooting
away.
back. Yeah, there you go. Now we're cooking with fire. Does it matter to you, like I said, like when I'm coming in for like this one you did today, kind of a boring one. Is that a bummer, or like some soccer mom that comes in for a butterfly or something?
Not at all. Like it's really cool to, I mean, for one, just to be able to, come out and see my buddy or whatever. And so I'd be happy to tattoo, you know what I mean? Whatever. And like a lot of my clients, even though they may come to me for like some specific thing, like they'll end up coming back to me for all of their tattoos, no matter what the genre is, you know what I mean, or whatever. And so I tattoo, like on the regular, I tattoo a lot of nature related stuff, but I tattoo a ton of other stuff also, and the thing that I like about tattooing, or one of the major benefits is like the lack of monotony, like I feel like if I had to tattoo the same thing every day, like I would probably not want to do it for very long, like I some of these, especially some of these young tattooers, they're have a very niche sort of like style or whatever. I think that they can really produce an amazing tattoo within that style, but then if you ask them to do something that's outside of that, then they really don't know their way around it at all. It's sort of my generation of tattooer, like tattoos were not popular.
Yeah, I know, man. I was wondering about that. Like, well, I always think about, so when I graduated from boot camp in San Diego, there was like this 2-day gap I had before I could go home or something like that. I can't remember. They let us out into town, or I got to go out in town, and I was all proud, right? I'd just done 3 months at Marine Corps boot camp, and I got to get the tattoo, right? And so I remember I went down to this beach, and there's like this tattoo beach shop, and I just walked into this tattoo shop, and I'm like, "Can I get a tattoo?" And they're like, "What do you want?" And I'm like, "I want USMC, right here on my shoulder." And within an hour, I walked out of there with a tattoo. I feel like that is a thing of the past.
It kind of is like the same. I had the exact same experience, more or less. Like me and my buddy had just graduated basic training for the National Guard, and we're like, "What should we do?" And he's like, "Well, let's go to the tattoo shop." I was like,
"Yeah, man.
I never even thought about that. That's crazy talk, And I remember we both grew up kind of in the Mormon church, but his family was much more involved and like pretty strict about it, and so like he was looking to get the biggest, baddest tattoo that was just going to scare the shit out of his mom. Like he was just going full, for shock value. And I remember we're not even through the door yet. I think I was like, had the door open. I'm like walking through the door, and he's like, "That one." And I was like, "What just happened right now?" And he's like the giant Grim Reaper on the wall, "Put it on my arm." And so he's back there for like 2 or 3 hours getting this thing done, and I'm like looking through these thousands of different designs, and I'm like, "Oh man, I don't know if I want like a dragon or a rose, or I just don't want something that I'm going to regret." And then I found this little cartoon picture of an armadillo drinking tequila, and I was like, "Well, obviously that's it. That's not one I'm going to regret."
If it's not an armadillo drinking tequila, is it even a tattoo?
Right?
Yeah, that's a big difference too, man. Like I remember, you have to go through and flip through all the pages back in the day, you know, and it's just not like that anymore, man.
Yeah,
like when I go into your shop, there's no books of tattoos,
Yeah, we have some, we have a lot of art on the wall, from other tattooers and friends and stuff like that, but we don't typically don't do like the flash tattoo like it was done kind of, back in the day. Everything's pretty much custom, even if even if you wanted like an old Sailor Jerry tattoo, we probably would do like our own rendition of it, you know what I mean, or whatever, and kind of customize it a little bit. So it's
why is it? I know I asked you this at some point, but why is it that it feels like tattoos don't hurt as bad as they did back in the day?
I think the equipment has a big part of it. Like the old school tattoo machines that were big, heavy rattle, rattle machines. They were pretty. They caused a lot of trauma. You know what I mean? Like, and a lot of the tattooers were not skilled enough to wield these things. You know what I mean? With any kind of dexterity, and so. There's still people that use the machines and they have a place, in tattooing. And I'm not saying that they don't, but by any means. But these modern machines that run on a rotary motor, they are so less evasive that it's just not causing the same kind of trauma that they were causing with the old machines. And a lot of that's just kind of comes down to a micro level. The needles are going like straight directly in and out of the skin. There's no like arc or like curve to it. It's the old school machines. We used to use like these big heavy grips to stabilize them because all the weight was like back on your hand, and so the grip would like bring the weight more forward. Well, then now you have a pound of steel that's vibrating in your hand. Well, if you think about it on a micro level, you have these needles that are in the skin and they're attached to a pound of steel that's vibrating, and so essentially like
that just sounds
they're
like
causing more, you know what I mean? Like they're routing out those holes and like causing more trauma as they're in the skin, where these new machines are literally just slips right in, slips right out so fast. It's just like,
yeah, it's crazy, man. It when you're doing it now, maybe it's just because it was so long ago I don't remember it this way. When you're doing it, it's like you're just using a Sharpie or something.
Yeah,
like it still kind of hurts or whatever. But
there's a lot more control. And
yeah, that's what it is.
The dexterity and stuff is a lot more.
Is that why you can do like much finer detail? Like I'm looking at this tattoo, the dude on the bass boat there. Like, look at that, man. That's crazy you could draw that on skin.
Yeah.
Is that something that could be done 30 years ago?
That's hard to say. I think that there was guys out there doing that stuff 30 years ago or whatever, but they were very few and far between. And like what I think the big difference, I think, is that how that tattoo ages over time, right? So
yes,
even if the person could achieve that level of detail back then, today, 30 years later, I don't believe that tattoo is going to hold up in the same way that a tattoo that's done today will hold up in 30 years, if that makes sense or whatever.
Yeah. Are there things a dude could do? None of my tattoos are like super detailed yet, but this next one we've been talking about. Yep. I kind of want that one to be a little bit more detailed with some shadowing and all that kind of stuff,
Yep.
Whatever. Is there stuff like you should do, I don't know, nutritionally or lotions or whatever to make sure that it maintains that detail for the long run?
Yeah, I mean, so like obviously like the better your tattoo is living in your skin,
Sure.
So the more you can take care of your skin, the more longevity you're going to have with your tattoo. But the wrecker of all things that have pigment in them is UV, right? So the sun is literally like destroying the pigment slowly on everything that has pigment in it, whether it's your car paint or your house paint or, your t-shirt or whatever it is.
I didn't even think about that.
UV is just slowly killing that pigment over time. And the same thing with tattoos. And so people that spend a lot of time in the sun with no sunblock, their tattoos are not going to age the same as like a tattoo that I have on my leg that never sees the sun, what I mean, or whatever. So
you don't wear a bikini or anything?
Why would you wear one?
That makes perfect sense. I've never thought of that, man, because I've always worried about like this upper tattoo on the Marine Corps tattoo that you fixed up.
Yep.
man, this arm will get fried in the summer.
Yeah.
You know, I'm outside constantly, and I'll wear like those sleeveless shirts to the lake or whatever in the boat,
Yeah.
or out fishing or whatever.
Larry the Cable Guy.
Yeah,
shirt.
like exactly. Man, I'll wear some of those sometimes, and man, that thing will get. One time I sunburned it really bad, and I was kind of worried about my tattoo because it went real blurry, and then the skin started peeling, and then it went kind of back to normal after that.
Right.
But I wondered that, like, how does it? Tattoos are like really weird to me. It's weird, like they don't compute to me. I don't understand how it stays there. You know what I mean? Because you're always shedding skin cells and all that.
I mean, if you think about it like on like a micro level, it's pretty amazing what's happening, right? Because you have these multiple layers of skin that are all like a sheets of paper that are stacked on top of each other, and you're placing that ink in between those layers, essentially.
Okay.
And that's where that pigment lives, and it's encapsulated within that tissue, like right there. If you travel too far past that, like into you have the epidermis and the dermis, and if you get into that fatty layer of the skin, then that ink is no longer encapsulated. Then it can travel, and then that's what you get, like these old tattoos that we'd see on our dads and grandpas and uncles and stuff like that would just like continue to expand and like
My
turn into
grandpas
this black blob of you can't even tell what's there anymore. Well, that's because that pigment's literally floating in that fatty layer, like under the skin, and so
interesting, man.
It's like
no idea.
if you contain it within those layers of skin, then like over time you shed those layers, and the tattoo does like get there's like less pigment in there over time because you're expelling these layers of skin or whatever.
That makes perfect sense to me, actually. Now that, like, my grandpa's did that, man. He had, you know, the old school right on the forearm military tattoos, and I think that's why I like tattoos so much too, because my grandpa had that one. He was in the Army Airborne, and it was some kind of emblem that by the time I came around was super faded and couldn't tell, but I always thought it looked so tough. He had this tattoo on his arm like that, and I grew up in Utah, where most people are Mormon there, right? So there's nobody had tattoos,
right? Total outlaw.
Oh, total outlaw. You know, and I was like, wow, look at that, you know. And I think that's partly why I just have this thing for tattoos, but that makes perfect sense. That's probably exactly because he probably got that tattoo because he was in the Korean War, which was ended in 1953.
It's so funny because I have the exact same, like one of the reasons why I'm a tattooer today is because of my grandpa.
Really?
Yeah, and he was a Marine in the Korean War, and he had 4 or 5 tattoos on each arm, and so he was like pretty heavily tattooed, you know, or whatever.
For back in the day, man.
Definitely the most heavily tattooed person I knew or whatever, and he also was taught me art at a young age, and so taught me to draw and taught me like a love and appreciation for art, and like really nurtured, you know, like that the artist in me, and so I mean that's like a major part of why I am a tattooer, you know. Like
that's awesome, man. I like knowing, because you're my tattoo guy, so it's good that you have like this deep-seated thing for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you could tell. I think anybody that gets into becoming a tattoo artist, clearly they're going to have like this passion for art, and it's just interesting to hear how that comes about. Yeah, like I wouldn't be a tattoo artist. I suck at drawing, but I don't have, like we were talking about, we have like similar creativity, brained whatever. Yeah, you know, that's kind of we're bred from that type of cloth, but it comes out in different ways.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
I love playing that drum set over there. I like playing guitar. I like creating things. That's why I do a podcast. It feeds that creativity side of my brain, you know. And so, it's just it comes out in different ways for different people. Because I'd be a terrible tattoo artist, dude. Like, this is amazing. This one over here with the highway heading towards that big peak. That we're for those of you listening, we're looking on his Instagram again. I could never do something like that.
Right.
Like, it's just out of my wheelhouse entirely. So, well, let's kind of go back to the archery shoots that are coming up. Where did I have that pulled up? Oh, it was on the other Instagram. Right there. So Broken Trail Bowman. Tell everybody a little bit about, so we've got what is this one down here? 2026 3D. That's just outlining all of them. So the first one is February 28th through March 1st.
Yep.
And that you could do a compound on.
Yeah, that's for any bow. Like you can anything from a hunting style compound bow to a target compound bow to a traditional bow. You can bring it out and we'll have a class, for you to shoot in or whatever.
So with all of these, because I'm seeing the different ages, young adult, like Shiloh would fall into that 14 to 17 one. So we wouldn't be able to shoot together.
You can still shoot together.
Oh,
you won't be like flighted.
Oh, you're scored. I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, dude, I don't want to score against her. She's like a competition archer. Man.
Right.
Like, she does that NASP.
Yeah.
That thing cost me a fortune because she keeps winning and we have to go to the next tournament. The travel. Yeah, man. And then there's another one, April 18th through 19th. So that's kind of similar.
That'll also be combined shoot. You can shoot compound bows or traditional bows, whatever you want to bring. We're doing our third annual, the Bison Shoot, we call it, is a traditional rendezvous. And so traditional bows only. Mm-hmm. There'll be like classes for like modern recurves that would be like a bare bow type setup that you can have like an elevated rest and all the, like a mechanical rest and all these things. And then there'll be a traditional recurve class. There's going to be a longbow class and a self bow class. And the self bow class is like primitive bows. And so, a lot of the guys actually make the bows themselves and make the arrows and everything and come out and compete with them.
I'd have send this to my buddy. Do you know a guy named Mike Ferriola?
I don't think
over
so.
in Hayden? Okay. I ought to send this over to him. He makes his own bows and
stuff.
Yeah. And so that one's March 20th and 22nd, and this is the one where you guys do the drawing for the bison. You can actually
so we did it last year and we're going to do it again this year. We're raffling off a bison, and it's not a hunt per se, but it's you can come out there and harvest the animal and then and either schedule for a butcher to come take care of it or take it and butcher it, kind of on your own or whatever. But
it's good meat, man.
Yeah, amazing.
Do you want some? I have a bunch.
I will definitely.
I will send you home with some bison meat.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, this event, these traditional shoots are pretty cool because it really draws out a lot of these shooters that shoot traditional bows that may not normally come to the combined shoots or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so we end up getting people, like last year we had people that traveled all across Washington, Oregon, Montana, even in South Dakota. We had a group come from there. It's been pretty neat to bring some faces that we don't normally see at the shoots to the ranch, and we provide a pretty fun shoot. We have like some novelty shots, and so you'll go out there and shoot some real like hunting scenarios, but then you'll come up and there might be a ramp shot where you got to shoot it off the ramp and hit the bear, or like moving targets. We have like a turkey that flies down out of the tree, and you got to try and shoot it, or whatever.
People lose a lot of arrows on that.
Or break arrows, or we have a steel elk target that we shoot. And,
nice.
But we do a lot of like games. We do like a shrinking rings game and a long shot game, and live music and food, and like it's just an awesome weekend.
And it looks like it's like $20 for one day, $35 if you want to shoot.
Yeah, you can bring the whole
days.
family for like $75 for the whole weekend.
Yeah. 7 a.m. to noon, scorecards by 3 p.m., blah, 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 blah. Okay. Yeah, I might do, I don't know which one would be better. I might do this April one instead of the February one, because that way I can de-winterize the trailer out there and just stay the night.
Yeah,
because it's a long way from here.
Yeah.
So that'd be cool, man. Well, Anything else you want people to know about these shoots before we wrap this one up? Or
No, I mean, definitely, if you have not shot a 3D archery shoot and you are a bow hunter, get out and shoot one, and you might just have the most fun you've ever had. It's such a good time, and this stuff all essentially happens all in the off season. Like there's some shed hunting and stuff going on right now, but a lot of us have off time at this time, and pretty much like we'll shoot. A lot of our shoots will end like right around beginning of summertime or whatever, and then other stuff will kind of come up. But through the winter months, it keeps us busy and get out there. And a lot of these courses are, 4 or 5 miles total or whatever, and so it's a nice hike and get some exercise and get the family out there and have a good time.
I think it's a great. It's just a lot of fun. You're around a bunch of like-minded people.
Yep.
Everybody's usually, just having a ball, camaraderie there, and you really gain a lot of skill. The last one I did in my full hunting get-up. I had my pack, I had my chest harness on, and I went through the whole thing just like I was walking through in September Elkwoods. And I think that's a critical.
And a lot of us definitely like try to train the way that we hunt, kind of thing or whatever. And
I think it's awesome. So I really am going to see if I can't work that out and hit that one up. That'd be a lot of fun. And so you guys listening, that's going to be in the show notes. I'll put the Bison Shoot, excuse me. I'll put the Bison Shoot Instagram page in the show notes, and I'll also put Nate's Instagram in there at Anchored Nate. I always get tongue-tied saying that. So, well, awesome, man. I always love having you on the show, dude. It's always fun.
Thanks for having me out.
I
enjoyed it.
Yeah, man. It's cool when we can combine it with doing a tattoo. I'm really happy with this new tattoo. Look how rad it looks with the bleed out right now.
Blood coming out.
Yeah, I kind of like that. I almost kind of want to make that permanent. It's cool. So, guys, check it out. The Bison Shoot on Instagram, and definitely if you are in the market for a tattoo, Nate's your guy.
Come and see me.
Yeah, come and see Nate, but not before I'm on the schedule. I'm going to make sure I'm on the schedule before I release this episode. And, like I said, man, thanks for coming all the way out here to do this.
Yeah, thank you, Jim. Appreciate it.
Appreciate having you. We'll just keep in touch, brother, man.
Sounds good.
You made it! That's the end of the episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please make sure you're following us on Instagram at The Western Huntsman, and write us a good review at Apple Podcasts. Thanks, guys. See you next time. Stay Western, and I'll see you on the mountain.